Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutalishamtaranath. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutalishamti Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswati Vivekavaravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat. Hare Krishna. So thank you for being patient. There are some changes in the machine that I'm using, so some configurations have changed. So suddenly things were not working as they're supposed to work. But anyway, I'll sort that out. The broadcast I'm doing to another ID, but I'll later add it to the channel. So welcome to our discussion on the Bhagavad Gita. We are on the very interesting discussion of the 16th chapter, Divine and Demoniac Natures. We discussed how advancement in spiritual life is about a transformation of character. It's about developing qualities which are aligned with our spiritual nature. In fact, in our spiritual nature itself manifests certain divine qualities. And it is about reactivating those qualities, because those qualities are actually inherent in the soul. And then there are some demoniac qualities which are actually quite opposed to the real nature of the soul, which we want to get rid of. And they are coming from our various conditionings, which essentially come from our association with material nature. So we discussed the first 10 verses of the 16th chapter, and we want to continue our discussion further. Krishna has, after giving a brief comparison between the divine and demoniac natures, first 3 verses, he gives very detailed description of the divine nature. Then he gives a brief description of the demoniac qualities from 4 to 8. And the essential difference between the divine and the demoniac natures is that the divine are always working, living in cognizance of their actual position. And because they are cognizant of their actual position, ultimately, no matter how they are functioning in the world, ultimately they are moving towards the direction of developing their relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is why divine individuals or devatas are defined as those who are devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And demoniac, asuraha tad viparyayaha, are defined in a very simple way by saying that asuras are those who are opposed to the devas. So whatever devas do, asuras do exactly the opposite. They are always opposed. So we want to continue the discussion from verse 10 onwards. So in verses 10 to 20, and Krishna spent so much time discussing demoniac qualities. Because like we said, unfortunately for all of us, because we all have so many demoniac qualities. And sometimes we are even unable to identify one of the qualities that Krishna mentioned in verse 7 about the demoniac people is that they do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. The mentality of demoniac people is, unfortunately, they think that which is actually not valuable to be valuable, and that which is valuable in this human form of life should not be so valuable. Even within the realm of religion. And that is why we see nowadays so commonly, especially in some other religions, I don't want to take names, there are certain religions just so focused on simply expanding their numbers, but there is no focus on development of compassion, no focus on the development of serving others, no focus on peace. Rather, there is so much focus on violence. They want to make everybody else come to their designation, but their own designation is very, very far from peace, love, happiness. So this is not what we want to create. That's why even within the Krishna consciousness, our focus is not just on converting somebody. Please say, I am devotee of Krishna and I accept Krishna as my Lord. And if somebody says that, yes, now he's become a devotee. So it is not like that. It is not so, I mean, that may be a good first step, but there is so much work to be done. One has to develop the right qualities, purify oneself from all material contamination, and live a life which is aligned with spiritual principles. So it's a journey. And that is why spiritual aspirants must be very clear that while external aspects of spiritual life have some importance, but ultimately, unless there is an internal transformation, there must be a congruence between our external dressing, our words, our actions, and our heart. Maybe today it's not there. Maybe today we are starting with external things more. And that's why sometimes there is so much emphasis on the way we dress, tilak, kantimala, initiation, and so on and so forth. But all of these things are good and important. One must realize that the ultimate thing of importance is our inner substance. If we do not have inner substance, but we have all other external things, so I have a kurta, I have a kantimala, I have tilak, and I have a spiritual name, XYZ Das and XYZ Dasi. But inside my heart, if I'm not showing the right divine qualities like what Krishna is saying, nor am I properly endeavoring, then that is actually going to be a problem. It's like you go to a shop to buy some very nutritional tonic, but what you get is the beautiful bottle of the tonic with a nice label and wrapping from outside and everything looking perfectly like a tonic bottle. But when you open it and you take it out, instead of tonic, there is liquor inside. So in Kali Yuga, this is the nature of religion, which means people are so attracted by the external aspects of displaying themselves to be religious or spiritual that they get totally distracted or totally lose focus that actually the substance which is inside the bottle is most important. You can even compromise on the bottle. But if the tonic is not inside, what is the point? Isn't it? Correct? If somebody gives you a choice at the chemist, I have the exact tonic bottle, but there is no tonic inside. But I have the tonic, but it's kept in another bottle. Which one do you prefer? So, of course, the perfect reference is the tonic in the tonic bottle. Yeah. But what is more important? Ultimately, is the substance which is more important. And congruence is that the bottle and the tonic is the same. So while initially sometimes neophytes may give more importance to the external aspects are ultimately meant to influence our consciousness. If you're not properly working on consciousness, then we have problem. And that is the nature of the material world. And that is where various religious figures get trapped nowadays across various religions. They put too much emphasis on the externals, they put too much emphasis on the rituals, and they forget the substance altogether. And Krishna here is not, if you see, Krishna is nowhere in this chapter talking about the bottle. He's talking about the substance. He's talking about what is inside the bottle. It can be either tonic or it will be poison. Tonic is the divine qualities, poison is the demoniac qualities. And sometimes we are so busy with the bottle that we forget to even analyze what is inside the bottle is actually tonic or poison. So at least we should know what is tonic and what is poison. And that is why these qualities have been enlisted in detail. So after having given a brief description of the demoniac nature, Krishna goes on verse 10 onwards to give the activities of the demoniac people and what is their consciousness, how they think, thinking patterns, the way they analyze, the way they look at the world, what is the logic that they apply. This is quite interesting. So let's start with verse 10. Krishna says, sorry, just give me a minute. Kamam ashritya dushpuram dambhamana madanvitaha mohat grihitva satgrahan pravartante ashuchivrataha. We had read this last time, just repeating because the section begins from here. Krishna says that demoniac people, they take shelter of insatiable lust. Essentially, it means they are driven by lust. What does driven by lust mean? They're continuously hankering. I want to enjoy materially. I want to enjoy materially. And dambha mana madanvitaha, they are maddened with conceit of pride and false prestige. I am great. I am this, I am that. Whether they're actually there or not there, it doesn't matter. But they think like that and they're illusioned like this. And because of that, they are always involved in unclean work, being attracted by impermanent. So what are they attracted? Prabhupada says, essentially demoniac people who are driven by lust are attracted to four things: meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex. Why they are attracted by these four things? Because these four things are exactly opposite of the four pillars of religion. Satya, Daya, Shaucham, Tapaha. And that is why they are ashuchi vrataha. They are dedicated to unclean activities. Divine qualities means humility. Demoniac qualities means pride. Ravana, just see how proud he was. Exceedingly proud. He would terrorize and humiliate the devatas whenever he would get an opportunity. In fact, at some point in time, he had engaged some of the devatas to do menial work like maid servants in his palace, just to humiliate, and he would enjoy that. And because of this kind of mentality, which is deeply rooted in illusion, they actually go further and further away from the soul. And they do all this because their fundamental attitude towards life is that the goal of life is enjoyment of the senses. They cannot think much beyond that. Kamopabhoga. And because of being continuously propelled by this insatiable desires of kama upabhoga, of enjoying kama, they are continuously harassed by chintam. Chintam aparimeyam cha pralayantam upashritaha कामोपभोग परमा एतावद इति निश्चिताः आशापाश श्रुतैर्बद्धा काम क्रोध परायणाः इहन्ते काम भोगार्थम अन्येनार्थ संचयान. Because they are always chasing material enjoyment, and material things are so changing, so flickering, so many people wanting the same thing, so much envy, hatred, lust, so much strife as a result, that their life is continuously an unending sequence of miseries. Krishna says that they are unlimitedly in misery. Chinta, aparimeyam. By the way, in Malaysia, love is called as chinta. I don't know why they call love as chinta, but I think I can guess. Chinta means continuously. In India, there is a saying that if you continuously do chinta, then you will go closer to your chitta. Because continuously worrying leads one quickly towards death. It actually spoils one mentally, emotionally, physically. But those who are in this kind of rajoguna, this kind of a demoniac mentality of always wanting to enjoy, they are bound up by so many desires. They are continuously making plans, this, that. And because they are continuously hyperactive, fulfill their material desires, they are always in anxiety. Even those times when they think they are enjoying, actually half the time of when they are apparently enjoying, they are continuously thinking of so many other things. Because they are always absorbed in kama and krodha. Kama krodha parayanaha. And to fulfill this kama, and in reaction to the krodha, they do whatever it takes. They'll make money by illegal means and whatever. So for them, it doesn't matter whether they are doing the right thing or the wrong thing. If I want to enjoy, I will enjoy. It doesn't matter whether it is according to dharmic principles or not. So when such a person, even though when he's working very hard to earn money, Krishna explains the mentality or thinking of such a demoniac person. A very interesting thing Krishna mentions about such individuals in verses 13 to 15. Very nicely. Let's see how Krishna explains. Krishna says, Idam adya maya labdham imam prapsye manoratham idam astidam apime bhavishyati punardhanam असौ मया हतः शत्रुर हनिष्ये चापरानपि ईश्वरोऽहम् अहं भोगी सिद्धोऽहं बलवान् सुखी आद्यो अभिजानवान् अस्मि कोऽन्योऽस्ति सदृशो मया यक्षे दास्यामि मोदिष्य इति अज्ञान विमोहिताः. Those who are in ignorance are bewildered with this kind of thoughts. What are their thoughts? Now I have acquired so much wealth, so much power. Now with all my plans and schemes and conspiracies, I will get more. I will achieve even more. I will become even more wealthy. I will tackle this enemy and I will destroy him and I will capture over him. And eventually I will become the Lord of everything. I will be the Lord and enjoyer. I am perfect. I am the real enjoyer. Whatever I do is correct. I am the richest and I am the most qualified person. No one is so powerful and happy as me. And also, to show my greatness, I will also do some yajnas, some pujas, some show of religiosity. And in this way, by doing some charity and some yajnas, I will rejoice. This is the kind of thinking. So even demoniac people sometimes make show of religiosity. It's not that they are doing with faith, but they are doing for show. And there are many people like this. This is something, it's quite interesting. Sometimes even atheistic individuals, they perform religious rituals and yajnas and ceremonies and pujas just because it is a matter of social prestige. That means there's no faith. And nowadays, this is becoming increasingly common in the Vivaha Yajna. Many of them don't even want to do the Yajna. They don't even want a ceremony. The boy and the girl, sometimes even the parents. But because of social pressure, they say, okay, just get a pujari and tell him, we'll pay you extra, but make sure the ritual is as short as possible. Because the focus of marriage is to enjoy. Don't burden us by sitting down for so long and doing this puja, this vow. They're not bothered about the vows. They're not bothered about the commitments. The focus of the marriage is on enjoyment. So when this is the focus, what happens? Because there's no seriousness, the samskara has not been done properly. The vivaha samskara. That loyalty, that commitment is not there. So when one's desires are not fulfilled by the spouse, immediately the individual, because of lack of samskar, will start looking outside. Because one is driven then by lust. And lust here doesn't necessarily mean always gross lust. The lust can be whatever unfulfilled desires are. So demoniac people fail to understand. They may sometimes do rituals, but they have neither faith nor have the interest. So they never actually get the benefit of whatever even little religious observances that may be conducted by them or executed indirectly by them by giving money or resources. So what happens to such demoniac people who are always thinking like this and working like this? Krishna says very interestingly, what is their destination? Krishna says, Aneka chitta vibhranta moha jala samavritaha prasakta kama bhogeshu patanti narake ashuchau. The ashuchau, the unclean people, what happens? They are continuously perplexed by anxieties and bound by a network of illusions. And they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment, and ultimately they fall down into naraka, hell. Patanti narake prasaktaha kama bhogeshu. Because they are extremely attached to kama bhoga, to enjoy sensually. Patanti, they fall. It doesn't matter what is the external designation. The person may be a pandit, a mullah, an initiated devotee. Ultimately, it is not the external recognition or the external things which matter. We have seen so many times, even within the Hindu fold, there have been so many swamis who externally seem to represent renunciation, sacrifice, but internally were leading lives of lust. And this is also a characteristic of the mode of ignorance, where external, the bottle and the substance, did not match. Krishna also goes on to explain how these demoniac people are also very hypocritical in nature. Krishna says in verse 17, Atma sambhavita stabda dhanam mana madanvitaha yajante nama yajnaiste dambhena vidipurvakam. Demoniac people are very self-complacent and impudent. Impudent means they think of themselves, that's why they don't give proper respect to others. Because you're always proud. Oh, I know. Even if somebody tells them, I know what is the right thing. They don't even want to hear. I know what is Krishna consciousness. You don't have to tell me. Even when good advice is given, they will not want to hear. Deluded by wealth and prestige, sometimes they proudly do sacrifices in name only. This is exactly what we just discussed. They may do those ceremonies, they may do those sacrifices, they may do those pujas, but they do in name only. Why? Because they don't follow the rules and regulations, or they are empty of the spirit. In both cases, you don't achieve the result. One is you don't follow the rules and regulations, like what I mentioned. Sometimes people give money to the pujari to not do the essential things and do things very, very quickly. Or they concoct their own things. Our samskaras and systems of worship have evolved and have been developed, either given directly by the Lord or by great personalities. So much of thinking behind it. They are so scientifically designed. We may not understand the science behind it, but it still works. Just like when we take a medicine, we may not exactly understand what are the chemicals inside it, how it goes into the system, how it works to counteract the disease, but it works because it has been designed like that by experts. So even the various pujas and rituals which have been designed by authorities, when we follow them, these things will work. That is why it is important to not adjust the formula. Spiritual practices are to be followed as given by the authorities as is. It is not a buffet. I oftentimes like to give this example. Spiritual life, or taking up to spiritual life, is like a set thali. Set thali. You understand? Set thali. You go to a restaurant, you order, I want Gujarati thali. So you just sit and wait, and the thali will come in front of you. 10, 15 small katoris, vessels. There'll be some rice, there'll be a kadhi, there'll be sweets, there'll be dal, there'll be some sabjis. The menu is preset in a particular proportion with a particular mix of some particular tastes according to a particular cuisine. So spiritual life is like that. It's a formula, it's a set. Because everything has been placed very wonderfully to give you a complete experience to help you develop in a particular way. It is not like a buffet. You go here, oh, I like this. But okay, now let me look around. What else do I like? Here I like this. Take a little bit of that. Then somebody says, no, you have to follow this is regulative principles. Okay, I take 3 out of the 4. The 4th one I will. Okay, I don't think it's so important. So this kind of an approach doesn't work well in Krishna consciousness. So people either don't follow properly, or they concoct their own processes. And all these things we can see so much in Kali Yuga, and that is why they do not get proper results from their spiritual practices, and they blame it on the spiritual practices and traditions and the Lord. Oh, that all these things don't work. These are all dhakosla. But the point is, have you actually followed the recipe properly? Have you followed the formula properly? Out of 100 people who go to the gym, how many people actually come out with 6 packs? Actually, out of, it is said, the maximum business of the gym is around December and January. Why? Because everybody wants to become thin in the next year. And the gym people will sign up so many people, probably even 5 times the capacity of the gym. Why? Because they are so confident that only 1 in 5 will come. And out of the 1 in 5 that come, they will also come only for 2 weeks. And after that, 1 out of 10 will come. And after 3 months, 1 out of 20 will come. So they're very confident. They are keeping collecting money from everybody, but they know. But just because you signed up for a gym doesn't mean you're going to get in shape. You have to follow the formula. There is diet, there is exercise. The right diet, right exercise to the right extent. So this principle applies to all fields, not just spirituality. But the point is, those who are in the mode of those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, the demoniac people, they are so proud that they don't want to follow the formula. They think they are very smart. Krishna further goes on to say, excuse me, what is the further result of performing demoniac activities? Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham cha samshritaha mama atma paradeheshu pradvishanto abhyasuyakaha. That such individuals who are affected by this kind of an ego that we just discussed, because of the strength of their ego, their pride, their lust, and their anger, they are actually totally opposite of the real principles of religion. And what is the symptom? How we can understand that they are actually against the real purpose of religion? They are actually envious of other living entities. They envy me, who am situated in the heart of every living entity. They are unable to see the connectedness of all living entities. And ultimately, they are envious of the Supreme Personality of God. So they are envious of the Lord, and they are envious because they are unable to see the presence of the Lord in the hearts of various living entities. And that's why such people never accept the supremacy of the Supreme Lord. They are envious of the scriptures, they are envious of the Lord. And in that way, they actually cause so much harm themselves. So how does Krishna deal with such individuals who are demoniac? The divine Krishna has said that they achieve his supreme abode, those who have perfected their divine qualities. Now Krishna explains how he deals and treats those who are demoniac in nature. Tan aham dvishatat kruran samsareshu naradhaman shipami ajasram ashubham asurisheshu asurishu eva yonishu. Krishna calls such individuals as envious and mischievous. Mischievous. Actually, recently we had elections in India, and elections are the best time to see mischievous people active. Because you'll see all kinds of mischief that various people from various political parties will do. How much falsity, how much envy. The very same issues that they fought for on one side on one day, now because they are not convenient, totally forget that and argue against it. And then they have to be reminded, no, you said that on that day. No, that is different situation. This is different situation. So such people who are mischievous, they don't have any principles other than the principle of, like Krishna says, satisfying their endless, insatiable lust. That's the only principle. For them, truth doesn't matter. For them, cleanliness doesn't matter. Compassion doesn't matter. Austerity doesn't matter. What matters is sense enjoyment. So whatever they want to achieve, they will say whatever it takes to get what they want, whether within the realm of matter or within the realm even of spiritual life. Hide, manipulate, speak something here, speak something there, go behind people's back. So all this kind of mischievousness which is done. So Krishna says, when people are envious and mischievous, what do I do? Such people who are the lowest among men, Naradhaman, I cast them again and again into the ocean of material existence in various demoniac species of life. It's very interesting. So if you have a demoniac mentality, obviously Krishna is not going to give you a divine birth. He's going to give you a body which is of a demoniac quality. For example, certain kinds of families, certain bodies which have certain qualities, they are demoniac. They may be humans as a broader species, but within the human species, there are so many levels of consciousness. Asurim yonim apanna muda janmani janmani mam aprapya iva kaunteya tato yanti adamam gatim. Krishna says, when they are cast again and again into these demoniac species, such people, they continuously get trapped in this demoniac species. They become bewildered and forgetful. And because they continue to hold on to such demoniac qualities, they are never able to approach me. In fact, they slowly sink even within the demoniac species, lower and lower and lower species. So God is merciful, but God's mercy is his extending his help to those who want to come out of the situation that they are in. Here, the demoniac don't even want to come in. In fact, they are continuously attacking the saintly people. They are attacking real religion. They are attacking the followers of real religion. And that is why Krishna says he withdraws mercy from such envious and mischievous individuals. If we are fallen, if we are conditioned, if we are humble and gently seeking the help from the Lord is willing to extend his compassion to forgive us and pull us out. But for those who are conditioned and fallen, at the same time proud, envious, mischievous, and continuously troubling those who are following real religion, Krishna says they don't deserve my mercy. They deserve my punishment. They are not even seeking my mercy. They are actually a poison to society. They need to be destroyed. That's why Krishna tried so hard in the Mahabharata. Did Krishna not try? Did Krishna not try enough? Some people still try to blame Krishna. Krishna tried as far as he could, but the Duryodhana was not able to listen because he was such an envious, mischievous soul. So many people tried to make him understand. Vidura, Bhishma, Dhritarashtra also to some extent, and Gandhari also to some extent. But deep inside, at least Dhritarashtra still wanted that Duryodhana should not give up the throne. Krishna personally tried. Can you imagine? We think that, those who are great people always succeed, but even God always doesn't succeed. Because Krishna failed at an external level. Krishna failed to convince Duryodhana. Of course, Krishna has the power to force anybody to do what he wants. But the point is, Krishna never forces anybody, because as far as living entity is concerned, Krishna always values their free will. That's why he didn't force Duryodhana, he gave him the opportunity. again and again and again. He painted the consequences. He even asked for the absolute minimum, 5 villages, and let's settle the matter. But they were so mischievous. And you can see this kind of mentality even when you look at Ravana, how much Ramchandra tried. Ramchandra even sent a proposal to him. Even when he was in Lanka, he sent him a proposal. He just return Sita now and let us settle the matter. He wouldn't listen. Vibhishan advised him, wouldn't listen. Kumbhakarna also advised him later on, wouldn't listen. So such people have to be punished. And the consequence of being absorbed in demoniac mentality and continuously cultivating demoniac mentality means continuing to go down more and more and more. So effectively what Krishna is saying is those who have this kind of a demoniac mentality will never achieve liberation. That's why Krishna says, Shipami ajasram ashubham yonim. I cast them again and again into various kinds of demoniac species. They continuously go to suffer. And they are devoid of the opportunity, not devoid. They miss out any chance of being saved. Not because Krishna doesn't want them to be saved, but they have no desire. So this is the sad reality. So we are going to stop here. We have another 4 verses in this chapter, but I want to discuss that next time because that is a very, very important. Each of those verses is a lot of depth. 21, 22, 23, 24. Very beautiful, very deep, profound verses. So we'll discuss them next time. So we have completed section 10 to 20, verses 10 to 20 today, which is summarizing the activities of the demoniac people and also their consequences. So I just want to open up the floor if there is any questions or comments. Wonderful. So day after tomorrow is the most auspicious festival of Gaur Purnima on Friday. So this is a gentle reminder. So please absorb yourself in nice Gaur Katha. There are so many classes, so many series which are going on. Maybe you may not be in the loop for some, but if you want to hear about the beautiful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, you can just go to YouTube. Just type Gaur Leela. His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj is also given a series. His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj is given a series. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj speaks. I mean, so many sannyasis. Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj has given a series on Gaur Leela. I think recently Gaurang Darshan Prabhu was speaking about Lord Chaitanya's quality. So many series are available online. Please especially hear and read about Lord Chaitanya's appearance because that is the special tithi. Of course, the pastimes are so vast. It will take you many months even here. I remember when in the early years in the 90s when I was in Mumbai. 4 days before Gaur Purnima, leading up to Gaur Purnima, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj would give classes on Gaur Leela. Every day he would speak for 5, 6, 7 hours for 4 days. And we would all be sitting, hearing. Sometimes one class will go on for 4 hours. 5 hours. Even when we would go to Vrindavan, Mayapur, many of those classes would go for 4 or 5 hours and we would be sitting on the bare ground, under the sun sometimes, and hearing. So, and he would cover right from the early pastimes to all the way up to the Antya Leela. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are very, very sweet. But I would strongly encourage you at least to hear about the pastime of his appearance, the story, and also the reasons for the Lord's appearance. That is very important. So especially the Chaitanya Charitamrita explains 3 internal reasons and 3 external reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance. So if you want, you can hear about that. Let me see if I find a link to some good class. I'll probably share with you. I know you will not have time to hear 20 hours of katha, but probably a few hours. Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are very sweet and very relishable. And like what I mentioned, it is my intention, Krishna willing, that after we complete this series, 18 chapters, we will go to Chaitanya Charitamrita discussions. We will discuss in detail. But at least since this occasion is coming, Lord Chaitanya is actually so merciful, so kind. He is an ocean of kindness. Even though Krishna is very, very kind, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna's limit of kindness. He's Krishna only, but Krishna in his limit of kindness, where Krishna will even sacrifice so much for himself and his own dear devotees just to extend himself to give compassion to others, even to the point of taking sannyas himself. And we discussed that one day earlier as well. So, Parama Karuna Pahun Dvijan Nitai Gaurachandra is Parama Karuna. So that is the limit of Lord Chaitanya's compassion, or Krishna's compassion, is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if that also we cannot appreciate, then too bad. Then we fall into the category of what Krishna has described in the verses we discuss now. If we cannot, even when God is coming and begging at our feet, just chant my name and I will deliver you. That also becomes difficult. What more can be done? Okay, so I wish you all a very happy Gaur Purnima. So probably let's see on Saturday. Let me see what I feel inspired, whether we want to discuss Bhagavatam or something about Lord Chaitanya. Perhaps on Saturday we should discuss something about Lord Chaitanya. I think that will be good, because it is the day next day of Gaur Purnima, which is the day of Jagannath Mishra festival. That is the day that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's parents observed his appearance day. The birthday party, so to say, was on the next day. That's the day when the feast is given. So we are fasting on Friday. Fasting is up to moonrise. The exact time, at least for Kuala Lumpur, I will post. For India, Amit Pro will post later, or if anybody of you have the time for India, it's usually moonrise. Whatever is your local moonrise time, you can just check that. So you can just type in Google moonrise time and it will tell you what is your moonrise time locally. So up to that, it's best to fast fully, but if you think it's too much to fast all the way up to moonrise 7 p.m. odd, then you can, just have some fruits or just have some Ekadashi Prasad until then. In any case, even for those who are fasting until moonrise, for Gaur Purnima, we generally avoid taking grains while we break the fast. So we generally do fast full day, also take Ekadashi after moonrise. But at least try to do whatever level of fasting you are capable of until moonrise, because all these small sacrifices also go a long way in helping us to get purified. And of course, I think here in Jagannath Mandir, for those who are in Malaysia, there will be festivities here in the temple. For those who are in your own respective cities in India or otherwise, wherever there are celebrations happening, please join. And in that way, please derive benefit. Okay. Any questions on Gaur Purnima itself? Okay, so thank you all very much. Hare Krishna, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. I will see you on Saturday. Thank you. This Sunday we will not have a class because I think Gaur Purnima is also intense, and Saturday again there will be class. So Sunday we will not have the sadhaka and sadhana classes this Sunday. We will probably shift them to the next weekend. Yeah, just to let you know, so you can plan your time accordingly. So we'll try to do Saturday some Gaur Katha, and our focus on Gaur Katha will be over understanding the purpose of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. The Katha we will discuss another day. And of course, the basic Katha of his appearance, of his birth itself, that we can discuss. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare